So I was watching television, and suddenly the channels let me know that there's a big rally in Washington, D.C. In fact, people invited me to come out. They said, this is going to be the rally of a generation. And there was a rally in Washington, estimates of 300,000 people. On Twitter, I wrote, on one of the pictures, I just wrote the word mishpacha in English, and that went pretty viral out there. And that's because this was an important rally that connected the Jews of the United States, the other great Jewish community, with the Jews of Israel, really coming out to show that we are one nation and that our brothers and sisters in the United States are part of the fight, part of the battle for a safe and strong Israel. One of the major organizations in the United States is the OU, the Orthodox Union. You know the OU from the kashrut standards, of course. Everything in America is marked O and there's a U inside. That means that it's certified kosher. But the OU is really a powerful organization that does everything from getting communities together, synagogues, and even I listen to some of the podcasts that the OU teaches of Torah podcasts. We have with us Rabbi Moshe Hauer, who's the Executive Vice President of the OU. Rabbi, welcome to Tov Studios. Tell me about the rally. I wasn't there. I was here, but I was watching it. Tell me a little bit how it felt to be out there in Washington. It seemed like a chilly day a little bit, but the hearts were warm. Am I right about that?
Yes, it was extremely warm. It was an extremely warm feeling, a very, very strong feeling. What I would say, in the simplest sense, you said it beautifully, mishpacha. There was also a sense that a community which has felt very alone for the past month plus, since October 7th, did not feel alone on that day. It didn't feel alone because there were estimated 300,000 people together, including Jews from every part of the spectrum of the Jewish community, and including many non-Jewish friends and supporters of the Jewish people. We didn't feel alone because of the parade of people who went up onto the stage. It's not in every golus, it's not in every experience of the Jewish people in exile that we could have hundreds of thousands of Jews assembled on the mall, looking ahead at the Capitol building, at the seat of government, and have standing on the stage the leaders of both parties, of both houses of the Congress, speaking strongly, clearly, and unequivocally to say everything that we would have said if we had the mic. To say that Israel is the force of good and that Hamas is the force of evil, and that nobody should ask Israel to make a ceasefire until they get rid of this force of evil. It was a strong statement of support for the state of Israel. It was a strong statement for something which has made us feel very alone in the United States, which is the surge, the tsunami of anti-Semitic expression, which has come from certain places, most notably from the university campuses. And this was a strong repudiation and a commitment to beat that back. And it was an incredible demonstration of support, of love, and prioritization of the fate of the captives, of the hostages, and how there's no discussion of any humanitarian value that can start without complete commitment to resolution of the issue of the captives. So in a world which has been very confused, in a world absent moral clarity, that afternoon was a moment of moral clarity, a moment of solidarity amongst the Jewish people, with the Jewish people. It was very special.
I also saw actually one of the speakers that really moved me was actually the Muslim speaker. There was a Muslim speaker quoting the Quran, and she was wearing the full gear, and she really spoke against Hamas. She said, this is not Islam, and that we stand with the Jewish people. And she finished up with Am Yisrael Chai, and she did it she was totally in Muslim mode. She was not in, she wasn't shying away from it. She wasn't like, I'm a former Muslim. She was like, I'm a Muslim, and I say that this was wrong, what happened is wrong, and Israel is legitimate, and Am Yisrael Chai. What was that like?
It was very meaningful. It was very meaningful. And voices like that are unfortunately few and far between. Unfortunately, at least the ones that get projected. But it was such an incredibly important, valuable voice. You notice it. And I think that was part of part of the beauty of the rally was that it wasn't our voices saying those words many times. It was voices that weren't standing up to defend themselves in the classic sense. It was, you know what it says in Proverbs, "Hallelujah zar v'lo," right? When others are able to, so to speak, sing your praises or speak of your value, it's so strong. And yes, that was really something. It was a very important moment, very important piece of event.
Okay, Rabbi Moshe Hauer, you were in Congress just not so long ago testifying specifically about the issue of campus anti-Semitism. We have seen videos of Cooper Union and Columbia and Penn, and students, Jewish students, are simply feeling harassed and afraid on campus, and they don't know how to react properly. Tell me about the situation. Is it everywhere? Is it not everywhere? Are Jews feeling afraid? I was on a campus in Florida half a year ago, and Jews said to me, yeah, like we are. Some of them said, I'm hiding my Jewish symbols because I don't want to get in trouble out there. And other ones are saying, I put on my Jewish symbols because I'm a prouder Jew than before, and I want everybody to know exactly what I am. But definitely there's a tension on American campuses. What are you doing to counteract that? Are you telling parents don't send them to these campuses? Is there any way to fight it on campuses? Are you working with administrations? What did you tell Congress that we could do about campus anti-Semitism?
This issue has been a significant preoccupation for us at the Orthodox Union, as well as for the entire Jewish communal leadership. There are innumerable meetings that we have held together, shoulder to shoulder, the Orthodox Union, together with Hillel, together with the Anti-Defamation League, the Conference of Presidents, meetings with senior administration officials, with Department of Education officials, to see how and to really not just encourage but compel to some degree this issue to be addressed. It is not on every campus. It's not on every campus. There are campuses that are wonderful examples of absolute commitment to not allowing an atmosphere of fear and intimidation towards Jews to be created on the campus. You may know that Rabbi Ari Berman of Yeshiva University brought together a letter of 100 campus presidents. Now, those campus presidents were by and large, a lot of them were faith-based universities and schools and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, it's significant, it's meaningful. And even amongst non-faith-based universities, there are universities that have responded well, that understand that providing a higher education does not excuse you from teaching basic values at the same time, and that it is fundamental to what the United States of America is supposed to be, that everybody, no matter their identity, are supposed to be able to access federally funded educational environments and anything federally funded without fear, without any sense of intimidation. And it has gotten, in many places, out of control. And there has to be an extremely serious effort to do it. The good news is that everybody sees it as a problem, quote unquote everybody. What does that mean, everybody? It means when we sat in this congressional committee, Democrat or Republican, right or left, one or after another, before they said anything, before they asked any question, they said this is terrible. It's not something which should be in this country. So that is there because of the blessing of freedom. We have a little bit of the limitations of figuring out, okay, so where does freedom of speech stop and things like that. But everybody knows that this is a result. Like, take a step back from the details. This is a situation that is absolutely unacceptable and intolerable. Do university presidents have the same sense? Do they have the same commitment? Are they more conflicted? Are they struggling? They seem to be struggling. They seem to be struggling big time with summoning the will to be able to address this. There's a surge, of course, as you know, academia represents the most, generally speaking, significantly overrepresented by the left ideologically, and for reasons which, as aminim, as believers, we can understand because we know anti-Semitism sort of sticks to us. everywhere, but logically defies understanding, absolutely defies understanding. The more progressive communities, not all, but very significantly, have bailed out from supporting the state of Israel, even when their enemies, rape women, even when their enemies, uh, do everything to fight what the progressive community generally stands for. For some reason, Israel is still demonized in the eyes of many, most, one might say, of the vocal ones, and it's been very disorienting to the broader Jewish community that has affiliated significantly with progressives, and it's very confusing for everybody. It doesn't matter where you are, right to left. This is very, very difficult.
Rabbi Hauer, I visited Europe, and there's all these guards. Like I was in Vienna. Getting into the synagogue was harder to get it than getting into the Israeli airport. Is that where America is going? What is the average Jewish person's sense on the street? Let's say they're Orthodox and visibly so, or not Orthodox and not visibly so. Is there a sense that there's a change, and are we fighting that?
It's not where America is. It's hard to, and we pray it's not where America is going. It's not where America is, and we pray that it's not where America is going. We're students of Jewish history. Yishai, you know Jewish history. I know Jewish history. You know that that Golos turns, right? The Jewish people thrive someplace, they contribute to the community, and then they get spit out. Does America have to be the same thing? No, I don't think it has to be the same thing. I think that America could say, Iran, you'll be motzi us, you'll fulfill the obligation of b'chol dar v'dar omdim aleinu l'chalosenu, that you'll be the ones to attempt to destroy the Jewish people. We are going to be the ones to support them. We are going to be the ones, to hold them up. But it is concerning. It's deeply, deeply concerning. And there isn't a Jew with Jewish consciousness that isn't asking themselves this question. Is this where we are headed? Mm-hmm. The difference, when I just want to tell you this as what I think is that people always ask this question. It's 1933 or it's 1939, right? Pick your year on the Holocaust calendar and say that that's what it is in America. And when we were standing at that rally, and Chuck Schumer and Mike Johnson, two people who are very, very different, and Hakeem Jeffries, and they get up, the leadership of the House gets up there and stands in front of the Jewish community and says, no way, there will be no anti-Semitism in this country, and we're going to support Israel all the way to the end. When that's not 1933 and it's not 1939. That's the hope. Now, there's lots that those people have to do in order to make it happen. And a big purpose in the rally was to encourage that, to help them understand how much we value, we value that. I mean, have you heard, Yisha, have you heard Richie Torres, the congressman from New York? Have you heard him speak?
Absolutely.
So he spoke at the pre-rally. I was actually still in Congress, but he's spoken before. I saw him at the rally. I gave him a huge hug. Said, Representative Torres, you don't know what a hope you give us. Here he is. He's so committed, so clear, and that's the leadership. And again, leadership has to translate to action. We have to make sure that the university students today that are the congressional class of 2035 and 2040, that they have to grow out of this, and they have to be taught out of this, and to some degree they have to be enforced and legislated out of creating hatred in a land which is supposed to be a land of freedom and liberty. And that's the work. That's the work with which all of us in the Jewish community, including the Orthodox Union, is involved in government. And we're doing everything we can to strengthen our students on campus. And yes, as you may know as well, a consortium of modern Orthodox high schools informed universities that if they want to recruit on their campuses, they have to present what their policies and their action plan is to make sure that the kids are going to be safe on the campus. and how they're going to ensure a safe and welcoming environment for their kids. Otherwise, no go. And that should be insisted.
Rabbi, last question. I just want you to know that next week, a group of YU students is coming on a student trip to Israel to support. This is not a university trip, but it is a student-run trip. I'm helping organize it, so it's very exciting. And the reason it's exciting is because these young students, girls and boys, are going to have their life changed by touching Israel in this time of need and giving of themselves. They're coming to volunteer. They don't want to hear speeches. They don't want to go touring. They just want to volunteer and help where they can. So it's an amazing thing. Just to ask you, what is the OU doing right now, not just to make America safe, what we talked about before, but to make that connection with Israel strong in this time?
Well, we're doing the same. Just last week, I think it was last week, I was there with other leaders, shortly after October 7th, and did that. And we brought a group of 45, I believe, rabbinic and communal leaders, rabbi with a layperson, who were there for several days. Again, not this week, but the week before, and they did exactly that. They didn't listen to speeches. They went and they met and they interacted. And God willing, next week or the week after Thanksgiving, we're taking a large group of women, rabbaniyot and others, rebbitzins and educators, because one of the things which we found when we were there was that there was a lot of male chizuk, there was a lot of male encouragement which was being offered, but the women who who their husbands are in the army or wherever else, they don't have someone who's coming as often to offer that encouragement. So that's our next run, and we're continuing to do that. It's Eino doma shmiya l're'iyah. Hearing is nothing like seeing, nothing like touching. And when people go and they see the situation, they have an enhanced opportunity to be helpful then, and they come back transformed, as you said, and motivated to be even that much more committed and impactful.
Rabbi Moshe Hauer, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you to the Orthodox Union. And the most important word right now in that is the word union. Am Yisrael is together across the seas, and we're united in our effort to strengthen Israel, to strengthen our peoplehood. I want to wish you continued strength and Hashem's blessings to make Am Yisrael strong and united together. Thank you so much for being with us. And thank you, folks, for watching the Tov channel. And we do offer an awesome subscription to lots of content. So please join us at the link below, click the bell, and be part of Arutz Tov. There's a lot of Tov content that's coming out of here, and be part of it. So thank you very much. Shalom.